um, when I hit my wall, this is the year before the article, when I hit my wall, like I said, I stopped working, I pulled back. And my business partner thought, okay, maybe we're not going to be producing movies anymore. Also because I had already had an intervention. Another thing that happened is I had an intervention from one of my agents who said, look, James, we can't get funding for any more independent films. Like, because that was my recourse. Like, if I didn't get the job I wanted from a studio, on a studio project, I'd be like, well, then I'm just going to go do my own. And then I'm going to do 5 of my own, right? The agent was like, it was a true intervention. She's like, look, we can't get any more money because the foreign financiers are like, we don't want any more James Franco movies. We got 4 James Franco movies already that we got to sell. Like, we don't want any more. So that source had already dried up. So my producing partner was like, all right, we might not work together anymore, but can we just have a talk? I was like, sure. And I got my brother Dave to come sort of be a witness. And so my producing partner had pulled up just the previous 5 years of all the projects that we'd done. And he's like, all right. And then we did this project. And this is where I said, we don't have the money. We should wait. And you said, I don't know if I can swear, but F everyone. If you don't want to be on board on this, then get the F out and we're going forward. And he's like, and this is where I said we didn't, the script needed rewriting. And you said, F off, we're going forward. I got to fill this window. And then one of the big things was when my dad died, when I was doing Oz, and he's like, he didn't say that, but I realized, he opened my eyes and it was like, and when we were doing Oz, that's when everything accelerated. I was 33. My dad passed, and then it turned into like, I'm doing Oz. I bought like a double wide trailer that we put on a business campus lawn, and at night we'd go and film insane like vampire things there, like just stay up all night. Like, it never ended. I brought my mom out. She did a production of True West with 2 friends of mine. Like, it was insane. It never stopped. My students from NYU came out to Detroit and filmed their project there. Like, and I realized, I'm not trying to say, I don't know. I don't want to turn this into a pity party or anything, but when I wanted to be an actor, my dad said, you're being a fool. I dropped out of UCLA, and he's like, you're being a fool. And so after that, it was like, I have to, another motivation. I loved acting, but another motivation was I have to prove him wrong. And then when he died, when I was 33, I realized it was like, and by the way, when he died, like before he died, we had many talks, and he was so supportive and everything. Like, my dad followed my career, and, he didn't think I was a fool anymore. He said I was wrong. But I still had the phantom dad that said, you're a fool. And when he died, it was like the world took that place, and all the critics and everyone took that place. And it was like, oh, I got to prove them all wrong. And so that escalated. Anyway, long story short, he read me all of that. And my brother was there, and I just started crying. He showed my whole, history of behavior for the past 5 years, and was like this portrait of this guy who could not be alone with himself. I couldn't even go to sleep because I didn't want to be alone with myself. For years, I slept on my couch because it was like I fought sleep. I had to put guards on my laptops because I'd always fall asleep on my laptop and it would fall on the floor. So that's exactly what it was. And in those 7 months when I wasn't working, I wasn't dating and everything, it was like, oh my God, I got to get to know James. And it felt like I was like 13 again, literally like, oh my God, I've got the social skills of a 13-year-old because, frankly, once I had success, I didn't even know I was doing this really, but I would use my fame as a lure. It was just like, because I was scared to get to know anyone. And so what happened is my social skills just atrophied. Like, it was just, those muscles were so weak because I never used them. because I was scared. I hid behind the facade of my fame. And so now I wasn't using that anymore, and it was like, oh my God, this scared little kid that's underneath. But I'm glad I went through it, Like, if anything, positive has come out of this, it's like I have changed. It's given me the incentive to do the work to change. I've got it. I'll keep working at it for the rest of my life. But like, at least it got me off that path that was never going to end and would probably kill me. I truly believe, like, if I kept going with my work addiction, I probably would have relapsed on alcohol. I remember somebody I knew that at that time had gone out after more than a decade. And I had this flash in my head. It was just like, oh, well, maybe it's looking good on him. Maybe that's the answer. Fortunately, at that time, I still had enough sobriety under my belt. Like, when that entered my head, I was like, okay, maybe you got to do something about this,